I need to say what I was going to say.
Okay.
If, of course, I don't die choking on a sausage.
You're choking on a weenie. What the hell? Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 555 of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Paul E. Cooley. Joining me, Mr. Terry Mixon.
I can't drive. 555.
With that cat sitting on the back of your chair, you're not driving anywhere.
Well, I don't know about that.
In case you're listening, Minnie is, in fact, sitting on the chair right behind Terry's head.
Say hello, Minnie.
You know, she really needs to get more enthusiastic about her on-screen time. I don't feel like she's putting in enough work.
He says you need to work harder, baby.
I mean, her makeup's awful. Her dialogue is always off, and her movements are just... it's like a stuffed animal.
You're just such a critic.
I know, it's horrible. So what the hell have you been up to, sir?
Putting out little fires everywhere.
What kind of fires?
Oh, little things like getting a short story finished, getting it off to having it proofread, catching up on my redlining of the stuff that I've already written in the novel. Just getting all the little things that I haven't done that I needed to do done. So I'm now ready to start writing again.
Yay!
In earnest.
Yay!
All of my side projects are done, so I can focus wholly on the novel now.
And which novel is this?
Ruined Terra.
Ruined Terra. Okay. So finally we got the Terra, and now we're going to find it's all jacked up.
Well, yeah.
Well, okay then. So let's see. What have I been up to? Robots, beverages, beer and wine applications, and working on the new book.
You should totally mix that all together into a single storyline.
No. Thank you. No. I don't
need
robotic
wine servers, writing books.
No. That is not going to be one. No. Just basically no. This is, again, one of those ideas where Terry throws something out expecting it to stick or not expecting it to stick. It's really just a hand grenade that was a dud.
I'm filled with duds.
Yes, but are they milk duds?
I would like to be filled with milk duds.
Ugh, that just sounds disgusting. So we had a little problem when we recorded this episode.
Vocal diarrhea?
No, that's normal. That's the show, dude. Don't make that. That's one of our selling points. Come on, man.
That's not a bug. That's a feature.
That's a feature. Damn it. So OBS decided to do something odd with the audio. We are still playing with how we're going to do things because today this recording is literally the last recording we can ever do using the old system.
Curse you, Google!
Yeah. Hopefully next episode we'll have all the kinks worked out, but the first while of this episode's a little bad on the audio. So our apologies in advance. It'll hopefully be better next time around. Hopefully you can stick through it. And with that, we'll give you another disconnected episode of, oh my God, the tech support problems are killing us. Did you see my post about getting a D in space station and ship design?
Yeah, I did see that. What did you forget? Toilets?
Well, space stations aren't too bad to deal with. Ships aren't too bad to deal with. However, when we're talking about a mining station on a moon and you're trying to produce artificial gravity for folks, then the design starts getting a little fucked up because you have to have wheels that are turning to provide the gravity, but you're landlocked. You're literally sitting on top of a hunk of rock, right?
Yeah.
So the design of the station or the area has to be rather unconventional looking. So yeah. I was trying to figure out how all that will work, which is basically designing it as if it were a space station in space, and then basically modifying it so it will work on the ground. But it ain't easy.
Yeah, that would be kind of awkward.
Because you'd essentially have to have the same thing, right? You got a huge rod, and the wheels rotate around the rod. It's how you're getting the artificial gravity. at least to some
Have you
extent.
have you thought about the fact that you can attach them to the asteroid and rotate the asteroid
It's a
to
moon,
get that?
not an asteroid. It's a
Oh, and
moon.
sorry, I thought we were talking asteroids here. Yeah, moons would be awkward. Too big to really move around, and you're basically fucked as far as generating artificial gravity through centrifugal force. Centrifugal force isn't going to work so well there.
Well, if you had a wheel that you were in,
It would have to be set perpendicular to the surface and built strong enough to deal with whatever slight deflection that the moon already has. And you'd still have people a little sideways. How much gravity does this moon have?
excuse me, 1/40th of Earth.
That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. It means that even if you go ahead and say you put the equivalent of a Ferris wheel on its side spinning to go ahead and produce the gravity, you're still going to have a slight Coriolis effect from the spinning, and you're also going to have a mild gravitational from below. So if you threw something, it would not only curve, it would curve in two different directions. So yeah, that would be mildly awkward.
But I don't know how else to do it. So that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to do it.
Well, you could always have the habitation area in orbit around the moon. It won't have to be very far off the surface to be outside the gravity range.
Yeah, I don't want that either, though.
Oh, just look at you.
For the story to work, I need it to be bottled. So it needs to be bottled.
Then you're going to have to deal with the quirks.
I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore the problems with that and just talk about the fact.
Move along. Don't look closely.
Nothing
Move
to see here.
along.
Nothing to see here, because most people won't care. Most people won't even give a shit.
You can drop a couple of sentences up front saying it was a weird affair that got them gravity and it had these weird side effects, and then never mention it again.
Yeah, if that.
And that'll solve. Everybody says, hey, that would be bullshit. Okay, there it is. It's said right up front. Now,
Wouldn't
shut
that
up.
mean also that when you got further into the wheel or you got into the rod, you're going to have microgravity there, right? Because you're not being affected.
Same as you would have the same as you would have in an orbital thing. You
Right.
would only have in the center of it, only the moon's gravity would hold.
Right. So 1/40th of a G.
1/40th of a G in one straight down direction.
Yep. So anyway, that's
If you had it differently, if you had it where the Ferris wheel was like sitting on the ground and rotating like this, it would work. But then the gravity of the moon would change directions as you rotated, and it would really fuck you up because you would never adjust to it. Never.
the one thing about this moon, Iapetus, is it's tidally locked, so it doesn't rotate, so to speak.
I understand that. That's irrelevant. The rotation of the moon is irrelevant for its gravity.
I understand that.
Some people don't. I have seen stuff in writing where they talked about the rotation of something being the gravity of a planet. And I'm like, no, does not work that way.
Gravity's based on mass as far as we can tell.
Yes. But imagine this, if you will. You've got your Ferris wheel thing where it's straight up and down. So it's rotating at whatever speed is necessary to get you whatever level of gravity. And from second to second, that extra 40th percent just moves in a circle around you, and you could never get used to it. How fun. You should have something like that just so that the people could complain bitterly about the designers who fucked up their lives.
I could, but I'm not gonna.
Fucking morons on Earth.
Anyway, remember what Mal Cooper was talking about, being able to build these huge structures in space, right?
Megastructures,
Yeah,
yes.
megastructures. The same thing holds for moons. If they have a very, very low gravity, there's really nothing keeping you from being able to build
Your
something
audio
on
just
top.
cut out.
My audio cut out?
Now you're back.
No,
It cut out for a little bit. I didn't hear what you said.
What did I say?
You were saying Mal Cooper talked about, and then you cut out.
Okay, the megastructures, building those in space.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a celestial body that has very, very low gravity, the same thing would apply.
Be more specific.
You could still build these massive structures without having to worry about the kind of load issues and other things that you have, say, on Earth, provided that the ground or terrain you're building on is stable.
Yes, but something you need to keep in mind is if you're actually going to forge whatever materials that are there, forging something inside of a gravity well is different than forging something outside of a gravity well.
Right.
And low gravity, earth gravity, no gravity, if you try to pour a beam of steel, say, out of something there, the structure is going to be different in the different gravity layers. And I don't know which one is better, worse, but there's going to be things that you probably should take into account with that.
Everything's printed in space and brought down.
Okay, that works.
Problem solved.
Wait a second. Hold on. So they're not mining the moon.
Yes, they are.
So they're mining the moon, sending the materials up into space, forging them, and then bringing them back down.
No, the station...
Why aren't they building in space?
The station was built before they started mining, obviously.
Okay.
Because in this particular case, we're talking about Ogier Crater on Iapetus for this story. And so I see the station itself, the facility, basically going from the lip of the crater all the way down to the bottom of the crater. And the bottom of the crater is where the mining and drilling and everything else happens. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is for logistics, it's for personnel, it's for all that stuff, but all the really crazy stuff happens on the ground of Ogier Crater, which is also where they have the areas for refining metals or ore or whatever else. And then basically they'll shoot that shit to Saturn or to Titan or whomever.
Okay.
So that was the basic idea. It's what's under the ice that's important.
Well, sure it is. It's got claws and tentacles and shit.
No, it would never have such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It would never have such a thing.
More teeth than Oz from, you know where that's from, Myth Inc. Let me see if I think I've got the pictures right here. Hang on.
Oh, God. Be afraid, children. It's picture time with Terry. Look at that ass. Woo, look at that white boy ass. Yeah. Shake it, baby. Shake it. Shake it. Oh, my God.
Let's see if one of these has a decent cover here with lots of teeth. Nope, none of them do. I'm talking about...
Oh, aspirin. Okay, all right, right.
And one of his characters, Oz, is just in the comics. You see, he's this green thing with just nothing but like sharp teeth from one end to the other. There's a lot of sharp teeth in that mouth.
Oh my God. I need to read those, actually.
The books are good. It's been years since I've read them, but I got turned on to the comic, and then I said, oh, there's books with this too? And I read the books, and they were amazing.
Another fine myth.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first one?
It might be. Let's see.
Can't remember. Remember seeing the bookstores and everything.
Another Fine Myth is indeed the first one.
Okay. Then there we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 7 in the stack and maybe a couple of more lurking in there that I didn't grab off of this. So and there's another one right there. So I think I've got them all in paperback.
Terry's always got his library right there. Where's mine?
Yeah, I just usually can't find anything in it, mind you, when I want to.
Library? What's that? Oh, God, again? listeners, viewers, this is why we can't have nice things. It's all about Terry.
There. It is all about me. 2, 4, 6, 8 of the books. I'll have to figure out which one I'm missing so I can get it.
Okay.
Because, gosh, it would be fun to revisit that universe. Robert Astrom knew how to make characters that were just amazing.
I was listening to the Q&A episode for Scott Sigler's The Reef, and he and his business partner A were on there. She was asking questions, gathered from his listeners or whatever else. And somebody asked him about characters, about why all his characters, especially his secondary characters, have some kind of tick. And he brought up the fact that he got that from Stephen King, that, you start with, you mention something physical, you mention something behavioral, and something speech. And then you don't ever have to revisit those things again, because you can basically, if you do the rule of 3 with those, the reader's going to remember that character and remember those basic qualities about the character. And we do this, but I think we do it unconsciously. But the fact that he was explaining it that way, he explained it better than I ever could. Very succinctly in 2 sentences as to why he does that and where he got it from. So it was kind of an interesting episode. If you're interested, you should go to scottsigler.com. No, we're not sponsored by them. And go check out that episode. Even if you don't read his writing, that Q&A episode is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I recommend it. But it brought up, it brought that whole thing back of how much of a shtick is too much. When does it border on just taking over the story? Because every time that character appears, all that stuff comes out in very distracting ways. It's like if you're trying to have 2 characters have a very serious conversation, you can't suddenly have Jerry Lewis run around doing his shtick and have it hold. I just don't think that works.
Probably not.
So there has to be a level of control there, I guess. I don't know. Once again, depends on what you're writing, but it just kind of got me thinking about that. And which kind of goes along with some of the questions we've had from these people who troll our Facebook group. Troll is the right word. For
some of them, you're of course referring to everyone that sends you possum-related memorabilia.
I am not even talking about possum stuff. I'm not even talking about possums. I did consider naming my company Angry Possum Entertainment. I really did.
There we go. There we are. Angry Possum Entertainment.
I really thought about it.
You heard it here, folks. Honestly, I think that's a great name.
Well, the logo is pretty easy to come up with. All right, Scott, look, Pondy, look at that possum, and make me a logo out of that. Angry Possum.
He's already drawing even as we speak.
Probably is. Then I'll have to put out the Angry Possum version of Gere's Inferno, which is Richard Gere's Hamster Inferno, which he did the alternate cover for. Because he's an asshole.
I'm afraid that I'm going to have to say that Angry Possum Entertainment has my vote. That's awesome. That is totally awesome.
As opposed to Angry Puppet Entertainment.
If I had to pick between puppets and possums, I would go with possums every single time.
Oh, God. I'll never hear the end of it. I'll never fucking hear the end of this. Ever. That's going to be possum from here on out.
You're going to make up business cards and somebody's going to take one and send it back. You misspelled possum, send you your own card back with the one word changed.
Yeah. Opossum. It's opossum. No. No. It's Angry Possum.
No, I meant if you use Angry Puppet, they're going to go ahead and take your thing, copy it, wipe out the word puppet, put possum in its place, and make new cards for you.
Probably.
This is what you meant to say.
Probably. You're probably right. You're probably right. What's in a name, Terry?
A lot.
What's
There's a lot in a name.
No, there's not.
A name conveys so much
A
about.
name doesn't convey anything.
Sure, if your name's Bob, it doesn't convey anything.
I can call a poodle Lucifer. Does it make?
And that is, yes, it does. That is obviously the devil. The behavior that poodle would have to be named Lucifer tells you a lot about the character of that. I have a cat named Screamer. Does that name mean anything? Oh, yes, it does.
In her case, yes. But this is different from pets. We're talking about people. People do not exhibit personality traits until much later in life.
Why can't we go ahead and have it so that whatever name you grew up with, you have to exchange for what a plurality of the people around you want to call you when you're an adult?
Oh, Jesus Christ, no.
That would be awesome.
No, that'd be horrible. Oh,
that would be amazing.
That would be horrible. A plurality of people, really? We're talking about people who can't even take 2 seconds away from badgering somebody, and you're expecting them to come up with a name for you.
No one would have any name that was complimentary in the slightest. It would all be horrible and terrible.
Because that's how our society rolls.
Yes. But I can totally see that society. And they thought this was a good idea. Those bastards.
So what's your name? Shithead. How'd you get that? Don't ask. Well, that's what I thought was always cool.
What's your name? Philo.
Philo. That's what I always thought was cool about the Native American names, Stands with a Fist or Sitting Bull or things like that, is it was all based on the personality, I guess, they exhibited as children?
I believe that is part of it. It's when you came of age, if I'm not mistaken, you chose a name that had meaning for you. And they had, in society, you didn't choose names that were bullshit names. No. If you're not a warrior, you didn't choose a warrior's name because then Three Feathers is going to beat your ass up behind the tent. Okay?
Three Feathers. 2 fists and a leg. Look out.
I'm not sure how much issues they had in their society with people choosing inappropriate names, but I would seriously believe that there were consequences for that. People would reject a name that they thought was bullshit, I would wager.
So when are you writing about this society?
I don't know that I am. My writing schedule's pretty full for the next year.
Oh my.
Maybe I'll save it for a short story to fuck with somebody.
That sounds like an anthology story to me. I don't know what anthology, because I don't think there's an anthology for, wow, these are some really fucked up character names. I don't think that an anthology exists, but if it does.
Yeah. You think that it doesn't exist. Right now, J.R. Handley is putting together a note about it to send out.
Okay, so when is this Area 51 disaster supposed to take place?
September 20th, I think. That's the actual Facebook event. I don't know when the anthology for it is coming out. No,
I wasn't talking about the anthology. I was talking about the actual bullshit that is trying to drag people there to get shot.
So they've got more than, what is it, 1.5 million people supposedly signed up as going. How many do you think will actually show?
We talked about this last week. I think it's going to be well over 100. I think it'll be probably 1,000.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if a bunch of people in that general vicinity showed up for the party.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's see what them California boys brought. Oh, my God. Bales and bales of ganj. Let's party.
If I could show up like the guy Independence Day, the pilot, I would show up like him.
Randy Quaid?
That's it. Randy Quaid's character, if I could show up like him, I would totally show up to the Area 51 raid in a mobile home and act like that. Yes, sir! more.
You're not going to anal probe me again.
Exactly. I would totally show up as that character. Why can't Randy Quaid show up to the invasion of Area 51 and play this character live?
He probably will.
That would be amazing.
He has gone off. I mean, he needs to be institutionalized.
Medicated a little bit?
Dude, if he's not already medicated, whoa. He lost it somewhere. I don't know when it happened, but his entire brain went off the reservation. I don't know what the hell kind of place he lives in now, but wow, it sounds very delusional. Very delusional.
It really makes you wonder. I mean, obviously, society's idea of what is sane is a spectrum.
Sure.
And you're going to have people on either end that fall outside the spectrum.
Yeah.
And so it's like a consensus. Society has a consensus of what is sane behavior. And yet some people manage to find their way out into the wilds.
Are you trying to say there should be a catch and release program?
Is there a kind of world where the people that are crazy, that's actually the sane world, and the people that are pretending like we're normal is insane world?
Yeah, it's called America.
What? Look at what you just did.
I read somewhere that sanity is inversely proportional to self-awareness. The more self-aware you are, the less sane you become in society. Because you begin to see just how fucked up it is and how half of it doesn't even fucking matter. And so people tend to start putting you in that camp of lunatics. In a perfect world, in a perfect Christian world, where people actually took the message to heart instead of all the fucking bullshit, it's a very, very simple thing. Treat other people as you would like to be treated. A self-aware person understands that. And when they come across a situation where they want to lash out, a self-aware person is going to look at themselves and say, I've done that before. That's why I lashed out then. And now I'm seeing this and going, wait a minute, I'm no better than this person who did that. So maybe I shouldn't be as judgy because of something I've done. It's like having road rage. You're sitting there bitching about this asshole in front of you or whatever, who's completely unaware of what's going on. And you get so out of sorts that suddenly you become the same asshole who's driving like a total shithead because you get so pissed off.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. A self-aware person is going to say, people are stupid. This person in front of me happens to be having a very bad day or is extremely stupid. Therefore, I'm just going to let them do what they do and try and get the fuck away from them as quickly as possible. But I don't have to honk my horn. I don't have to pull out a weapon and start shooting at them. I don't have to be screaming at them. I just need to chalk it up to, well, that's the way it is, and move on.
Sadly, self-awareness is a transient state. Sometimes more transient than others.
Explain.
When you get caught up in what's going on around you, your whole idea of keeping track of how you should behave, how you should feel, what you should do, goes out the window because you get hooked by the emotion of the moment. And sometimes you just can't tear yourself out of it. And there's where you have your road rage.
Correct.
So it's a transient phenomenon because you just can't keep it going all the time.
No, but the thing is, when I do have those moments, I step back and I go, okay, I had that moment. That was stupid. Let's not do that again.
And it usually works most of the time until it suddenly doesn't work.
But the thing is, I'm self-aware to realize I was having a fit. And that wasn't, in retrospect, it was really about something else. It's not about that person who may or may not be having a bad day. It's not about that person who may or may not be stupid. It may be the fact that I'm in a hurry to get somewhere because I put pressure on myself to do that. And I have to own the fact that I am the cause of that stress. And
it falls back to something we said earlier. We're responsible for how we feel.
Correct.
About whatever is happening out there. It may be somebody cut you off. How we respond to that is our own. Whether we choose to allow it to get to us and make us angry, or we choose to do something else, this is something my therapist told me. Whatever happens in life, all we can control is how we respond to it, how we choose to allow it to feel. If you let something on the outside influence you in a negative way, then you are not in control of the situation. Somebody outside of your body is.
Right. It's like if a stranger comes up to you and starts screaming at you, it's like, okay, why? I haven't really done anything. I don't know what your problem is, but you really don't matter to me, so bye.
That would probably work for the most part. What if the person comes up and screams and pushes you? Physical touch changes things.
That's different.
Physical touch changes things in you. And a normally...
That's called assault.
...passive kind of guy might get shovey back.
That's called assault, and that's a completely different matter. That's a completely different matter.
This is where you need to bring out the anti-bear mace spray.
No, for me, it's at gay bars, is the anti-cub spray. Yes, I'm a heterosexual male, and I go to gay bars with gay friends. Stop judging. Because it's fun. You get lots of free drinks.
They ask you to dance, you should.
I don't dance. I don't dance with
women. One of my regrets in life.
Huh?
One of my regrets in life is back in the early 90s, maybe it was the late 80s, when I lived in Austin. A gay friend of ours that my wife at the time and I knew from when I was in the Army just happened to be in town, and we randomly ran into him. And we went out to a gay biker bar called the Chain Drive.
Oh,
because he was doing something there, and we were going to go out and hang out with. And one of the guys inside asked me to dance, and I politely declined. And I've looked back over the years and going, I should have. I totally should have taken him up on that and danced, because it cost me nothing.
True.
It would have cost me nothing to do the dance, and it would have been an experience that I could look back on and say, I've never done that before. Did I have fun? Might have. One never knows. Because
was it awkward? Maybe.
I don't know. It would have certainly been something different, and I regret to this day, 20 years later, saying no. I think it would have been fun.
It's like the Homer Simpson thing when he gets hit on by a gay guy, and what does he say? Flattered, slightly curious, but flattered. And that's always one of those moments that you kind of remember, where you had the opportunity to do something odd, or that made you feel uncomfortable, or that was just unconventional.
Mm-hmm.
And you either chose to not do it, or you chose to do it.
And also, sexual identity is a spectrum. People may not want to admit it, but there's a spectrum to it, and it's not all 100% one way or another.
Sure. But I wasn't even talking necessarily about sex. I'm simply saying that there's, in our lives, there's always these opportunities to step out of your life and go do something odd that you normally wouldn't do, just to get the experience, for good or ill. I think for creatives, that's actually a very, very important part of how we do what we do. Because if it's looking at, if you're trying to go through the looking glass to get an idea of what this subculture is, or a different society than what you live in, or just try and understand a different culture, throw yourself in the middle of downtown Chinatown, throw yourself down in Little Vietnam in West Houston. You're going to see lots of different things that you normally wouldn't.
I'm going to throw in another piece of advice with that. If you're going to go into a strange environment, try to find someone that's more knowledgeable of the environment, so they can help be your Sherpa. They can help take you through there and help you see things that you wouldn't normally see, while keeping you safe, while keeping, so you don't make some stupid blunder because you don't know what's going on.
Because you give them the peace sign and they think that's you saying fuck you.
That could happen.
That would be England, Scotland, and Ireland. Middle
Yeah,
finger, not a
gotta
big
be
deal.
careful
Go
when
spat.
you go to the hardcore Irish pub in Ireland. There are probably certain things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, you
before
don't
you get
order
your
a
butt
goddamn
beaten.
black and tan. You
Ooh,
order a
that
half
might be
and half.
bad. That might be bad.
In Northern Ireland, you might order a black and tan and still get your ass.
Bloody Americans gonna pound you into the dirt.
There's just certain things you need to know.
Probably so.
Yeah, but I would say take advantage of those opportunities, especially when you're young and stupid. Because you, in some cases, you'll never get a chance again. It's one of those deals where, and it doesn't have to be anything dangerous or whatever. It just means that
Skydiving, here we come.
Christ, curious about skydiving, not gonna fucking do it.
So if I go ahead and sign up for skydiving, you're not gonna go with me.
Okay, so first of all, I don't know if they make parachutes large enough for people like us.
They do.
I don't know if you can tandem jump with our fat asses. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I suspect you can, but that's okay.
You're gonna have to find a 6'10" guy to carry you up there. Oh God. Anyway, that notwithstanding, I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "Yeah, you totally can," and you're probably right. But
You're still not gonna be there.
I'm still not gonna be there. No. I don't think my back would like that very much at all. Of course, then again, maybe it would put everything back where it needs to be. Who the hell knows?
That's right. When the chute opens and it yanks you up there, it may straighten out your entire spine.
Yeah, I was like, oh, best chiropractor session I ever had. Oh shit, there's the ground. That's pretty much how I would think about it.
Just be happy because they're not going to take you on a halo jump. All right.
Man, what's that? 30,000 feet?
It starts way up, but they don't pop the chute until they're like way down close to the ground.
Yeah, it's like 750 feet or 1,000 feet, something like that. When they
Something crazy.
Jumping out 35, 40,000 feet. No, fuck you. No.
Allow me to tell you that I have the experience of having been a helicopter crew chief in the service, and I got a lot of time flying around in helicopters without doors, where it's not, straight up and down, where they're turning and doing everything here. There is a definite boundary between you're high enough to where everything is a postage stamp and you don't feel so threatened by it, and you're close to the ground and you feel afraid.
I'm going to fall this 120 feet.
This is falling range. It's true.
Here's the worst
30,000
part.
feet,
I might survive.
30,000 feet does not scare you as much as 3,000 feet, perhaps.
It's the same thing with money, right? There's only so many dollars you can look at before it just turns into numbers that don't make any sense.
It becomes unreal. The higher up you get, it doesn't look like, oh, look, there's the ground I could fall to. Oh, it's a bunch of postage stamp sized little squares of different land, right, is what it looks like. So it's not quite real in the back of your head until you get close enough to say, oh shit, that's the ground. your little hindbrain back there goes.
Now you're reminding me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the whale suddenly comes into existence. The whale and the geranium, the pot of geraniums, and they're both falling to the ground. The pot of geraniums only thought was, oh no, not again. And the whale had this sperm whale is flying through space. Suddenly it's plummeting to the earth, and it's having a conversation with itself. What is that? Oh, I hope it will be my friend. Sorry. Strange connections.
Yeah, I'd like to see you write a story like that.
I wish I could write humor. I really do. I really do.
I've seen some of the bizarro fiction that people write because Justin assigned something that was bizarro fiction, and I'm like, I can't even begin to imagine how I could write something like that. I can't think that way. That's not how my brain works.
God, what's the guy's name? Jeremy.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking
Shipp,
of.
yeah.
Jeremy Shipp. He had us read one of Jeremy Shipp's book, and I'm like,
I narrated one of his stories. Yeah. If you're not familiar with Jeremy Ship's work, you should go check him out just to see what we're talking about. But yeah, he definitely fits in the bizarro fiction cookie jar. He's definitely in there. He's definitely in there. So if you haven't read Bizarro, go give him a shot. And then let us know what you think.
Somebody was smoking some damn good weed when they were this hair, but
Well, it could also just be a very cracked imagination.
it could be.
Very vivid.
I'm not that imaginative, I'm afraid.
Bullshit.
Not in that way, I'm not.
You think that, and yet you come up with some of the bizarro ideas. You just don't realize that they're bizarro ideas.
Maybe so.
Because you don't consider yourself that kind of writer. That's beneath you. Because look at you, man. You're being all snobbish and snotty and elitist and everything
I'm not.
else.
I'm totally not. I don't think that it's bad. I just can't imagine having the talent to write something. That's talent in a different way than I have it.
It's the same kind of thing with Seth MacFarlane and those guys who do the writing for Family Guy and all those other shows. It's like, where do you guys come up with this shit? I mean, I understand there's 4 or 5 folks in a writer's room throwing pieces of paper at one another until they come up with something, but still, some of it's just so damned off the wall. It's like, how, and why did this come out of your brain? And I know there are people out there who ask the same questions of us.
Shit, look at the people doing The Simpsons. Holy fuck.
We wish they'd stop. Anyway, yeah, that show needs to go bye-bye. It's been on way too goddamn long. I think at this point, the only thing they're doing is trying to see how far they can break the record. They're going to set the record for, forever. Because I know they've already done.
Maybe, who knows?
Every show's going to have to be on for 40 years to match The Simpsons. Not really true, because those actors are getting pretty old. Most of those folks are getting up there.
As an aside, and has nothing to do with what we're talking about at all.
Oh, I'm shocked.
No, this is actually something that I think you'll be interested in. You've got Netflix, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
There is a show that's going to appear there on the 25th, 2 days from now, that has Katie Sackhoff, who played Starbuck in the new Battlestar Galactica. And it's supposed to be a combination. It's supposed to be like a combination of Stargate and some other type of science fiction that sounded really interesting to me because it tagged all of the sort of little checkmark boxes like, ooh, that sounds interesting. First Contact and Stargate type stuff. I'll have to look up the name of it, but they're going to drop the first season in 2 days, and I'm gonna definitely check it out.
There's a movie on Netflix right now called I Am Mother. I highly, highly recommend it. It's about an AI raising a child.
Okay.
Or I should say an SE raising a child. Wow. Yeah. I highly recommend it. It is, it's a TV-14, so I don't think there's any, I think maybe there's one damn in there, maybe a hell, I can't remember. The language is fine. There's really no violence. It is a really good movie. I think it's a really good story. So I would add that to your list if you haven't seen it.
It's called Another Life.
Another Life. Okay. I'll have to go looking for that then.
I'll drop the trailer into the chat here for us, since we mentioned it.
How is it 5 o'clock already?
Because we can't shut the fuck up.
Oh, God. Because we talked for an hour before we started the show?
Pretty much. There's all the stuff that, we had to chop out because our mouths and stuff.
Because our mouths and brains were functioning at a level that was not show compatible.
But we probably should bring it to a stop here.
We probably should.
Even though I'm still not sure what the hell we talked about.
I'm not really sure either. I can't wait to edit this episode to figure that one out. It's another cornucopia of madness. That's just the way it is.
That's what happens when writers get together.
Yeah, pretty much. If you'd like to tell us what this episode was about, you can send an email to show@devrobotssociety.com. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast if you want to see our ugly mugs. We have to thank our wonderful host, Podhoster, who makes all 14 bazillion episodes of the Dev Robot Society available for your ear holes. And if you want to support the show, get access to exclusive content, you can become a patron at patreon.com/DRS podcast. And if you're at the $10 level, you get your name read every week. And our $10 patrons are Andrew Smallwood, J.D. Barker, Aaron Meeser, Jesse Tacos Are Life Orcut, Veronica Jiguer, Kelson, a tutor who tutored a flute, yes, Isabel Cushy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Nathan Cosby, Cheryl Winters, Tracy Bodine, Devin Lee, Drew Bernardi, Chris Winder, Andre Conde Moraes, and J.R. Handley. Thank you very much, folks. And thank you
for supporting the show, folks. You make it possible.
Yeah, which you probably should stop because this madness just should not be on the air. But, we'll keep doing it as long as you keep listening. Sickos. With that, we should probably wrap it up and get the hell off of here so we can go do stuff like writing. Something like that.
Writing?
Right.
What?
It's what we're supposed to do. I'm a writer, aren't you?
I am.
Well, there you go. Writers write. So get your ass in a chair and write.
You betcha.
With that, we're out of here. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, folks.